for the wage gap, and it's not right, and we're so far ahead in today's world that I just feel like there should be no reason. I know Amanda was saying something about how we're so we're like, I don't know, Amanda.
This is 2015, people.
Yeah, this is 2015. So now today we're more educated. You know, we're more independent. So there's no reason for us to be paid less than men should nowadays. And I think it's ridiculous. And you know, today we shouldn't still be in this type of situation.
I mean, but it's not surprising though, because not even just in soccer, but in any sport or in any other occupation, men are still getting paid tons more than women are. Like even in like the NBA, the salary minimum for women is $38,000, and for men is and the cap is $913,000. But when it comes to men, the minimum that they're going to make coming into the NBA is $490,000, and they can make up to $58 million.
Man,
and I think, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But I think women are still, even in sports, women are still behind. Like, notice how everybody loves the NBA, but nobody really pays that much attention to the WNBA.
Not at all.
You hardly, like, nobody ever knows the names of the women. You just are like, oh yeah, I think I heard about something about that.
Yeah.
You know, nobody ever knows about women's sports.
Yeah. And you can't. Go ahead. Sorry. We're
But
so
it's
heated
not-
in here.
It's not just sports though. It's, you know, it's a lot of jobs. It's sports. It's teachers. It's lawyers.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of jobs nowadays, women are still getting paid less than men are.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, we still shouldn't be in that situation right now.
Right. And if we bring it back to the whole soccer thing, some of these women players, they're getting paid below the poverty line for playing a professional sport, which makes no sense. And we talked about this earlier in the week, and one of the callers called in and talked about, okay, maybe is this a money issue? Because, you know, it is true that men do bring in more money through scholarships and TV commercials. But is that why they should be paid more?
I mean, I don't think that they should be paid more due to having sponsorships, because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be getting paid based off of your performance. Right. And if you're looking at the statistics nowadays, or even just from this situation now, the women are winning. Yes. And they have won, so how are you paying them 4 times less than what the men are being paid?
Yeah. Did the men they didn't make it to the finals, did they?
They got kicked out in the first round.
Yeah. So how are they still getting paid more? That doesn't even make sense.
Come on now. These players on the women's team, they're known too. Like, I could name a bunch of players on the women's team.
I don't know anyone from the men's team.
Neither do I. Any you guys know any?
No.
I don't know any.
Nope. That's a shame.
And I don't even pay attention to soccer that much, but I know, you know, more people on the women's team, and they won, so they should be getting paid more, you know?
They should be
I
rewarded.
mean, they should be getting paid equal, not more, but, you know, they shouldn't be
at least
getting paid
equal.
less.
Let's start there.
Equal.
I read on the Huffington Post that they were saying how some women make only $6,000 a year.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, what are you going to do with that?
Come on.
Some people make that in, an hour? Some men can go blow that on a hamburger now. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do with $6,000 a year? You can't even pay your rent or your membership.
Minimum wage. Like, minimum wage, you make more than that a year.
Right.
Even on minimum wage.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
It's crazy. And it's not even financially, too, which is really sad. It comes down to the conditions that they're putting the women in, and the way that they're playing.
Right.
So, we talked about, you know, how the men, they're playing on grass, natural grass, and the women are playing on artificial turf, which is a lot more dangerous for the body, and also
it's going to cause a lot of head damage too, because
of course,
if you trip and fall, that can really cause a lot of damage to your head.
So you're not caring about paying us equal, and you don't really care about if we're going to get injured.
I know,
our safety, which is...
But you want us to be sexy playing.
Right, you want us to be sexy, right? Yeah, the president of FIFA was like, okay, well, you know, the men are bringing in more money, but let's try and get some money out of the women. So let's redesign the uniforms and make the, you know, the shorts tighter, so we can see something. So we can bring in some more audience.
See,
I think that's
why
disgusting.
I've always gravitated away from sports. I've never been a sporty person, but I know when I was younger and I went to a sports camp, they harassed the mess out of me. They were so mean to me. That every time I went up to bat, they were like, oh yeah, let's close in. They were so mean to me, and I remember I begged my mom to take me out of that sports camp because they were so horrible. Yeah. And they like swore that I was just such a horrible player and never gave me a chance. And I don't know, I just felt like that's why I never loved sports so much.
And remember when
I just went in, I'm sorry.
Yeah, remember like in elementary school and stuff when we would play, you know, softball and kickball during gym. you know, when we're playing kickball, all the boys are like, all right, move in. Girls at the bat. Right. Are you serious? Are you serious? Because I'm going to kick this ball as far as can be and get all around the 4 bases, so you need to stop. But I know, Amanda, you were talking about some article about this bar in Brooklyn.
So there's a bar in Brooklyn promoting ladies' night, a ladies' night idea where the woman pays 77% less of what men pay. So this is because on average, the United States women pay about 77 to 78 cents for every dollar that men earn. So what do you guys think about this?
Well, I Solomon the other day was like, yeah, that's hilarious that only Tuesdays are ladies' night. Every other day is probably ladies' night because they want to bring in the profit and bring in the men, which also bring in women.
There you go.
So I thought that was funny, and I agreed with that.
It's
completely a promotional marketing move.
Yeah, it's good for promotion.
Yeah, and making some money.
And
but good for them for trying.
To get more men in. And I think it's still unbelievable, like I said, that this is still happening because we as women, we should be able to pay, get paid equal rights for equal pay for equal work.
Yeah.
And I think as a young black college student, it's important. And I worry about that for myself, after I graduate and where I'll be. And, this is really important for us because we're not getting paid equal. So what am I going to do when I graduate? I'm going to get paid less than men still, all this work I'm doing right now?
Right.
That's not fair.
Yeah. I think that's what makes it difficult for us because a lot of times I know that I'm always sitting here stressing, what am I going to do when I graduate college?
Yeah.
How am I going to sustain a living? How am I going to find somewhere to live? Or, just keep up with the day-to-day. And to know that systematically I'm just getting paid less.
Yeah.
One, of course, because I'm a woman. And two, of course, because we're black.
Because we're black.
It's honestly, you can say that it's not fair, but that's just the way that things are. And it's going to take us to try to fix it ourselves rather than just keep complaining about it and be like, you know what, we need to do this, people are doing that to us. But if we try and work hard, I think that our skills can show for itself.
Yeah, definitely. And we are talking about we have this amendment, this 19th Amendment that women can vote, but we're talking, should there be amendments to say that we should get equal pay?
Well, there shouldn't need to be an amendment, but clearly in today's society there should be one.
You have
to make a law just to go brush your teeth these days.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and there's this. Today actually is the parade for the U.S. women's team for winning the World Cup in New York. It actually starts at 11 right after the show. But there's a anti-sexism group that's going to be up there, and they're going to fly a banner. Promoting equal pay for women's rights. I think that's great.
Yeah, that's good.
I think that's great. And we talked about, women are looked at more for our bodies and for the sexuality of our bodies, and it's disgusting. So we're going to move on to, Bill Cosby. I hate to say it, but, he admitted to giving Quaaludes to women for sexual purposes. How do you feel about this, Janae?
I want to know why these women are just now coming out, even though he admitted to giving. Well, he didn't admit to giving these women anything. He admitted to getting the drugs and having the intent to give it to them, but he never actually did, which makes no sense. But I would have spoken on it a long time ago. Why wait until now? Because they can't do anything to him. They can't prosecute him. They can't do anything. So what are they gaining from this? I think there's a conspiracy against them, which.
So you're team Bill Cosby?
I'm not
your
team
Bill
Cosby. No, I think he's a creep. But I mean, I feel like why are they just now saying something now? Why? What are you going to get from it? Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm sorry, but they were saying now that because they're older. They're like 57. One lady's like 71. So what they were saying is a lot of what they're getting now is just they're happy that their story is coming out there and that they're showing Bill Cosby for who he is. He's a criminal. He's a rapist.
Yeah.
So.
But do you feel like some of these women should take some accountability because it's come out that some of the women actually knew that they were taking drugs.
They're all like, oh yeah, I saw him slipping in my drink. Well, why would you drink it?
Why would you drink it?
Like she's like, oh yeah, he gave me a pill because I have a headache. Well, you didn't think to ask, hey, what is this?
I take pills for my sweet mates. Why would you take pills from a random man that you met wherever they were? Because God knows where they were.
Right, and for one, we're college students. We're into the partying. We're in that environment all the time. So I would understand these women, coming. They're on the come up. They want their career to skyrocket. I guess they're young. They're trying to be models in the industry or whatever. I understand them being in that type of situation, but why would you put yourself in a situation where you're going to be with a man in a room and he's giving you pills.
But I read one story about one woman. She said Bill Cosby gave her a pill, and then she blacked out, and then she walked to the bed, and she was naked the next morning.
Yeah, Barbara Bowman.
How do you remember all of that, but yet you didn't remember it that night?
Yeah, something is just so fishy. That's why I'm like, why are you always coming out now? I feel like they're trying to get some money out of it or trying to get something, because why now? You're not getting it. You're just embarrassing yourself because you're telling people, oh yeah, I let him slip something in my drink and I woke up naked the next day. You're just embarrassing yourself at this point.
So if you look at all the accusers, all the accusations, I feel like some of them I can believe, like the Andrea Constant story, just because there's just so much detail.
I believe he did something, which is still not right,
but then there's the others that they're just throwing things out. Just because I feel like, okay, she did, well, this happened this day back in 1972, so, I mean, I'm going to say it too now.
Right.
So I don't know.
Do you think there was a pattern in the women that he chose to fondle with or to mess around with? Because if you think about it, why didn't he try to mess with, well, from what we're being told, why wasn't he trying to mess with people that were close to him, like Raven Simone?
Right. Well, it seems to be all models who were young at the time.
Right.
So, and trying to get further in their career. Because I know in one story it said that something about paying tuition.
Right.
So,
at the time, he was the man. He had
exactly.
Exactly.
So they're going to hang out with, Mr. Big Bill.
So do you think maybe they were trying to use him?
Definitely. He was probably trying to use them for his benefits.
Right. Yeah, but even if the women, the young ladies, they're gonna use him. If he's touching you, if he's raping you, why are you still gonna stay? You're still gonna go back to his house, have drinks with him, travel with him, and let it happen again and again.
And it was probably fun at the time, but then as years went on, they're like, oh snap, this was messed up. Like we shouldn't have done that.
Right? Because now they
probably feel bad, like oh snap, this is a problem.
Maybe they all just saw Bill saw an opportunity, and these young women saw an opportunity. Not saying that's the situation, but maybe they saw it for a come up, and he just saw it for a time to just have a good time.
I mean, I don't know what's in their heads, but for the women, if they knew that this was happening to them and they felt some type of way about it, they could have thought, well, maybe there's other young ladies that he's doing this to as well, and maybe I should step up and say something so that this could stop.
Yeah, but these girls, they're younger than us. Some of them are at our age at the time. So
we're 17,
19. We're all young adults too. So can you blame the victim? Because a lot of media personalities, a lot of people in general are blaming the girls now.
Yeah.
So can you really blame the victim?
I feel like we don't know enough of the story to blame anybody.
I blame you if you knowingly took the
drugs.
Yeah, because some of them knowingly took it.
Right.
It's your
I know
fault.
we all have lapses of judgment every now and then, but.
And they're young.
Yeah.
So, since these are young women, put yourself in their shoes. What would you have done?
I would have stepped up and told someone. I don't think I would have stayed and went back to him because I'm not gonna risk my, myself, my body just for some money. I mean, I can just get it another way.
Right.
See, I'm paranoid, so if I'm 17 and some 50-year-old man trying to talk to me, I'm sliding the other way.
In North Philly, if I see some man even coming near me, I'll cross the street. Like, I would never put myself in that situation. That's probably so messed up of me, but I don't even put myself in that situation.
But, interesting. But we're going to bring it back to Solomon.
All right, that's the Salon. I want to thank Rachel, Janae, Whitney, and Amanda. Y'all brought it today. It was on fleek. We are going to go to break. And on the other side, we are going to